Welcome, everybody, to the Hot Tag Hooligans Wrestling Podcast Show with myself, Aaron, and Tom. Hey, Tom, this week, you know, we say this so much. We're continuously scouring the wrestling world for who's next. And no, it's not Goldberg. But on this episode, we think we may have found someone. It's the American Badi herself. It's Madi. How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Doing good. How's your Sunday been?
It has been great. We got up and we went and watched some football and did some shopping. So it's going pretty good.
So you said football. So is there a specific team that you root for?
Yes, me and my boyfriend are diehard Raiders fans. So
Ooh.
don't make that face. Don't go look at the game score from this morning. So other than that, yeah. We got this morning, I think about 6:30, and we rode horses. I'm a rodeo girl as well. That's what I do on my other free time. So we got up and did that. So we've had a pretty good day.
I won't beat up the Raiders too much because I have a feeling with their move to Vegas, eventually that money's going to come into play quite a bit, and they're
Mm-hmm.
going to be able to attract a lot of really great talent. Just
Yes,
sometimes it takes a little bit. They've got some good talent there. They just got to stay
they do.
healthy.
They do. They just got to learn how to put it all together, and it'll come eventually.
They will. Just not against my Pittsburgh Steelers, though.
Steelers? Oh,
Steelers.
gosh. I
Yeah,
don't know if it could have gotten any worse in that response.
it could have. When you said Raiders, it could have. Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, so let's not talk football because this is what we're here for. We're here for you. And one thing about our podcast is we love to bring notoriety to people all across the U.S. and the world that some may not have heard of yet. And your name continuously starts popping up on my feed over the last couple of months, and it's because you're starting to gain that momentum that we love to see guests get, from Wrestlecade to going up the Capital Championship Wrestling right now. So when you look at your career, what are some of the highlights right now that you're really taking away from it?
And well, you mentioned Wrestlecade, so getting invited to Wrestlecade, having someone contact me, is like I didn't know how to. I was like geeking out when I got the message because I knew what Wrestlecade was, and then after I looked up even more about it, I was like, okay, you know, this is kind of awesome. So a lot of that, in Capital, I've watched Capital, on YouTube and stuff like that for over a year. And I've always been like, that's a company that I want to go. I want to go to Jersey. And then to have them contact me and ask me to be on the roster was awesome. So, getting to go to Wrestlecade and stuff and getting to meet these people that I've watched on TV for years and who are like some of my idols are going, and it's pretty cool. And I don't know how to feel about it. Makes me
Yeah, but
nervous.
one thing about WrestleCade, in case people who do not know what WrestleCade is, Thanksgiving weekend, right around that time, it's one of the biggest parties that you could possibly go to in the Carolina areas. It's just loaded with people, and there's so many, like you're talking about, former greats of pro wrestling, all right then and there. So if you get a chance, head over to WrestleCade, right around Thanksgiving. I think it's like the 23rd on, and you still ticket, meet Maddie.
Now, you talked about geeking out a little bit. So when you do get these opportunities, how do you compose yourself to try to put your best foot forward so that, you don't come into these situations and have that kind of aura around you?
A lot of it has, with watching a lot of like we were watching tonight, Total Divas, the new wrestler show on Netflix, a lot of stuff like that, and even the Bret Hart documentaries and stuff. Like they talk about when they first started getting these bigger gigs and how they acted. Kind of where you go in, you show your respect. You when you get in there, you are safe. You keep yourself safe, and you keep who you're with safe, and you need to know who to listen to and who not to listen to. A lot of it has, like right now, WrestleCade is like the biggest thing for me because I've only been in the business. Will have just hit a year in a couple months, so it's kind of. I honestly, I don't know like how I'm gonna compose myself there. other than, I need to know that they're in their own setting at some point, around that day or a few days. I will go and express to them how much I respect them, get to meet a few of my people. It's also cool to watch them and how they interact with people. And then you learn how to interact with people who are in front of you. So a lot of that.
A lot of it has to do, I feel like, with this power of social media. Like you said, you've only been in business for a little over a year. If this was 10 years ago, it may take you 5 years for people to start figuring out who you are and climbing. But now, social media, it's quicker. People catch a match on YouTube. It may be in a reel on Instagram. People start picking up. And kudos to you for already starting to get some of that. We love Capital Championship Wrestling. We partnered with them last month to push their 2 shows, Misery and Vengeance, and some amazing talent up there in Jersey. Who's someone that you're looking forward to crossing paths with up there at Capital Championship Wrestling?
Well, I do live tapings with what's her name? What's her name, babe? That we do tapings with for Liberty that's doing the Capitol.
Well, there's a lot of money.
Starts with a V.
Von Star?
Vita Von Star.
Vita, yeah.
She is awesome. I've got to wrestle her there. I'm excited to work her in a live setting because, with those custom tapings, it's just me and her. That's it. There's nobody else. And then I've watched some Kylan King. I like her. And there's a few others, but really those two mainly, like I would love to get to meet and get to go up there. And, I'm like we're 14 hours away from Jersey. So definitely getting the more sponsorships to help me get there would be another goal of mine too.
Yeah, so one thing about Capital, they always look for sponsorships for a lot of their talent. So if anybody wants to sponsor Maddie, contact Capital Championship Wrestling. I'm sure they would love to hook that up and get you a sponsorship. Now you mentioned Liberty, because Liberty is a little promotion. It kind of comes on my Facebook every once in a while. I'm friends with the person that kind of does it. It's a little different setting, like you're talking about. It's custom matches.
Yes.
So talk to us a little bit about that experience so far for you.
Oh, I have to give a lot of of the way I work to them because I was very nervous in the ring until I started working there. Because even though it is only me and her, there's no live crowd. You get to work out a lot of if I mess this up, we can keep going, and it worked out a lot of, me being nervous, working different people. I work ages from 18 to I've worked a woman in her 50s. I've worked people who are my height, which is 5 foot, and I've worked people who are 7 foot tall. And so I get to learn the different types because you're not going to wrestle the same person everywhere you go. So I got to learn how to work with different women, their different working styles, how they talk to me. And so that's how it's helped me out a lot.
So, as you're building your career and your character and things like that, what are some of the inspirations that you have to create your character and persona?
This is like my favorite question. So my idol is Toni Storm. Toni Storm. I'm learning how to work this camera thing. Toni Storm, she is my idol. A lot of her matches, with my gear now and how I proceed, show myself in the ring and my entrance and everything, it has a lot to do with her. She's righteous and kick ass. So, and I say we're both blonde, so that's also why I like her. But she's always been that kind of like the underdog, and now you see her in AEW now running one of the best women's programs I've ever seen. And so a lot of it has to do with her.
Well, now, what do you think about her new character change so far that she's kind of going through? This whole Marilyn Monroe old school movie. What do you think about that?
I wish I'd have thought of it first. Because it's awesome. She looks so much like her, which helps her out so much. She's doing awesome. Like all her little, they're doing the silent skits on AEW. They're awesome. Her catchphrase is hilarious. And she's running with it. I wish I would have thought of it first because it's awesome. I was telling him the other day, I was like, can I just do it anyway? Like certain places, can I just do it? But it, it's awesome. She's doing great with it. And I think she can keep this a long time.
Yeah, I was kind of impressed when I seen it the other day. It's the first time that I really paid attention during the picture-in-picture commercial,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "This is brilliant,"
Yeah.
because it actually makes you watch the AEW product versus the commercial.
Exactly, exactly. And a lot of people look away during picture in picture, but for her to be able to want you to look during picture in picture means a lot.
I'm okay with them doing the picture in picture, like for the Tony thing, because I think it's kind of like a running gag in a way because she's a
Mhm.
silent movie and there's nothing to really pay
Yeah,
attention to. I can't stand when they do the picture in picture in a main event grudge match. It makes me so mad.
it makes me mad. And a lot of times they do picture in picture during the women's, which also makes me mad because you have 4 or 5 different men's matches and you have one women's match and you do picture in picture. And so I'm glad they're getting away from it, but I don't also want them to do it during a main event match. So I get the frustration there because a lot of times it's during the women's and you only have one of those.
Yeah, and the sad part is it's getting better, even though it's
Yeah.
still not good enough. So
Yeah.
we've discussed it before. What are your thoughts about one of these promotions one day just given one of their shows? Because let's be honest, every one of these promotions have multiple programming per week, an all women show. What are your thoughts as far as that goes?
What can you repeat that question? Like
So about them perhaps one day coming up with an all women's
all
television show
women's?
every week.
I think that's awesome because, when AEW, like AEW, WWE, you literally usually only have one women's match. So this gives opportunity for there to be more, these women that'll come in and have one match and they won't wrestle again for like 6 months for that company because they're only giving one match to the women. I look like the ladies' night out that's going to be at Sunday after Wrestlecade. I'm actually going to that and gonna be trying to watch. So because I've never actually got to watch one live, and I've been watching them, and I love it. And I think it's empowering for women, especially because women are obviously more comfortable around other women. When I was trained, my boyfriend trained me actually, and the little bits where I was getting trained by a girl, it's always different because she understands you when it comes to that. So I think them getting an all women's would be awesome, especially when a lot of their greater talent is not getting to wrestle as much.
Now there is as many promotions as there are out there right now currently, which is a great landscape, and there's so many women out there in all of these promotions. Do you think that or I guess what I'm asking is your opinion on traveling to the multiple promotions. Do you think that's a very positive thing, or would you like a more centralized area to work, or are you somebody who likes to travel everywhere?
We are travel people. Like if we don't have wrestling, we're traveling somewhere else to go watch wrestling. I love going out of town. We're gone every weekend out of town unless we have TV and our TV is really only an hour from us, so I don't really consider it out of town. But we're out of town people. Like I want to go to Jersey, I want to go to North Carolina and stay a few days and get to experience that. Obviously, it would be easier if Wrestlecade was 30 minutes down the road from me, but I love the driving there, stopping and seeing stuff and getting to go a day ahead and meet some of the people and get to see all that stuff. I love it. So definitely travel is like my thing.
Now, earlier you mentioned that your other love is horses. And it looks like, from your Instagram and things like that, you were pretty successful in your field as far as horses go. Were you a barrel racer?
Yes, I am.
And what's the highest accomplishment that you've gotten?
There's a thing called Lucky Dog, and it's a huge event in Memphis. And I took a horse that I rescued, and trained her, and we actually placed there last year. So, you know, with the wrestling, I'm going a lot. I don't barrel race as much, but I actually have one beginning of December. I'm going back to Memphis to that big event. So the greatest accomplishment was going somewhere like that to girls that are doing it 24/7, and that's their whole career. To get to compete against them and place is a really big deal to me. Because it is my other love. Like my horses are my babies. And so I like the high you get from wrestling, I get it when I ride the horse as well. So especially in those 10 seconds that you get to be out there, it's awesome.
Go ahead,
So,
Tom.
did you grow up with horses, and is it the farm lifestyle, or is it more of just raising horses for competition and stuff?
It's more of the horses for competition. I grew up with horses. Like I've never not had a horse. My papa had a bunch, and my mom always had some. And I moved in with my grandmother when I was 9, and she raised me, and we got me a couple, which is the horses I have now. So I've had one for almost 5 years and one for almost 4. And so I've always had them, and they'll stay with me till they're gone. I'm not the person that can get one and, you know, sell it. Like I get attached just like my dogs. Like I can't, they're my babies. So a lot of it is just competition. And then like we get up, our Sunday morning ritual is get up early in the morning and we go ride. So a lot of it is just pleasure.
Okay, so I must ask this, and please do not take offense to this. I absolutely love your accent. It is, I'm from Kentucky,
I
and I know
actually get that a lot.
some people think that I'm the most country talking person when we have them on the show. Have you ever thought about incorporating your love for horses with a character for yourself? I know Toni Storm's been an influence, but
Yes.
we have a lot of people on the show who tell us that their character is them turned up to 11 sometimes. Is
Yeah.
it something that you have thought about?
I have thought about it, but when you do, it would basically, to me, it would be like a cowgirl gimmick. And so to me, when I've seen other people do that, I didn't like it. So I don't know. For me, I don't know how to do it and change the way that it's been shown.
Gotcha.
So
That makes a lot of sense. And that's the thing too. Sometimes it's a lot of wash and repeat, you know, with
mhm.
a lot of talent, just copying gimmicks sometimes. And I do understand that everyone wants to be their own person
Mhm.
and try to make it their own sometimes. But yeah, kudos to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you don't really want to get kind of like what pigeonholed into a certain category too. You know, I think
Exactly. Because some
that
of them
could
you can't
be,
come out of. You can't come
yeah,
out of some
that
of
could be
them.
bad.
So, like, if I went in it and then everyone but me loved it, then I'm stuck. So, I kind of want to go something that I more so loved. That way, you know, it's always easier to do something that you love. So,
Now, you look like someone who's very competitive and that you want to be the best at whatever it is in front of you. But that kind of, what you just said kind of leads me to another question because sometimes money talks. And one thing involved in pro wrestling sometimes is that stability. You know, we have a lot of guests on this show and they say, you know what, I would just love to have a steady contract, whether it's WWE, AEW, or whomever. And if they wanted me to dress up like a clown, I'd dress up like a clown. Are you someone who would rather have your freedom or would you rather have some stability?
more so the freedom because, like I said, we're big like documentary people, and I've watched what happens to people when they go for the money and they dress up like a clown, literally. And then they're like, at the end, it's always a sad ending. They're depressed, they're lonely, or they're either not here anymore. So I would more so want the freedom. You know, obviously, if AEW is like, we want you to have a contract, I would be like jumping out of my shoes. And then they were like, but we want you to be a cowgirl and that's all you'll ever be. Then there's a different question. So I think more so the freedom because I am doing it because I love it. And I don't want to ever do it when I don't love it. So I think the moment that I don't love it is when you shouldn't do it.
So would you say the dream for you is just to be able to wrestle and perform at the highest level possible, and not necessarily at a certain destination?
Yes, I would like it to be the highest point for me. I think everyone has a different highest point, and so, everybody's dream is to wrestle at SmackDown. Like, if your dream is not to be on SmackDown, then, why are you doing it? But my dream for me is to see the world, to get to meet these awesome people, to possibly get to wrestle some of my idols, to get to work for these companies that a lot of big names have been to. NWA is one of my favorite promotions. I would love to go there. OVW, would love to go there. There's so much history in these places, and I think it would be so much more beneficial for me to get to go do all those places than just think about that one thing and that be the only thing.
I think you're going to fit in with Capital Championship Wrestling really well because all the guests that we've had on our show through the years who have stepped foot at Capital are sort of like you. Sure, getting some money would be great, but they're doing it because they love it.
Mhm.
And I think this is going to be an amazing show coming up with you on it. And I'm really interested. Do you know who they've got you wrestling yet?
I don't. I actually don't have a date with them picked yet. Like I said, with the sponsors, they're trying to find somebody that can sponsor me to bring me out there, because it is like I have to fly because I'm 14 hours away. So with that, I don't have a set date yet. We are looking, and it will possibly be in 2024, most likely. Which is fine. That only gives me more time to make myself better. And so we're just looking to get help to get me out there right now.
Tom, we actually sponsor some people for Capital.
We do.
You
May have
do.
to may have to send Marcelo a little email later on.
Yeah, that would be
Cool.
awesome. I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. So looking at 2024, because 2023 is coming to an end, is there a goal of yours that you want to achieve before the end of this year? And then what is a goal that you would like to achieve next year?
By the end of this year, I think I kind of want to have my whole gimmick and everything figured out, because my gimmick is me. Like, a lot of it has to incorporate Toni Storm and stuff, but a lot of it's me. So I think by the end of this year, I kind of want to make myself better. I want to get more in shape. Going to the gym is a test every day. If anybody says it's not hard to go to the gym, then they don't go. So it is hard. So I think, getting more consistent, make myself more disciplined. Definitely finding more time to be in the ring on my off days, even though there's not many. And next year, to get out, like, I want to get to Jersey. I want to go back to North Carolina. I want to go everywhere, even if it's not for a match, kind of just to be there. I want to go. So I think next year is to get my name even more out there using social media, and pictures wherever I go. And I think Wrestlecade is going to help a lot of that.
And Wrestling 101 says always bring your gear because you never know.
Exactly. Don't worry. I will have my gear at Ladies Night Out. I am prepared. I think I already have it packed.
She's really prepared then.
So that's looking at this year, next year. So some small goals there. Do you have any type of a long-term plan as far as how you would like for your career to go?
I would like to go to, like I said, these places. I would watching wrestlers and learn a lot of the history. I would love to get to be a part of OVW. NWA. We went to one of their shows live, and it was huge. And right now, my top company, I love AEW. I love the women. I love Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair at WWE, but like, for me, AEW is more of a company that I would love to go. But I think it would be even more of a highlight to go to, OVW, NWA, stuff like that for me, because I got to actually go watch them live, and I get to see what these other people are experiencing. And we actually went to a live AEW show in Tupelo, and it was awesome. So getting to do something like that, even if it's just like a spot, when they come to these cities, they contact these independent wrestlers to come and, do 6 minutes. I think that is more of what I'm trying to really do and get out there.
Sounds like you got a plan, and it seems like your determination is going to be there to try your best to get these plans executed. And we wish you all the best of luck. And we want to thank you for hopping on here with us tonight. Before we let you go, though, plug your social media and tell everyone where they can find you.
Okay, so let me make sure I don't miss a beat.
You're all right. We have a lot of them have to look it up too, so you're fine.
So my Instagram is Madi The American Badi, and it's Madison Owens. And then my wrestling Facebook page is Madi The American Badi, and do I need to show it?
Sure, you can if you want. There it is. If it ain't that picture with her, It ain't it.
It ain't me. And then I also have a Twitter, which I did not know. I'm getting used to the social medias. I'm like, I didn't know that Twitter changed to X until about a week ago. So I have a Twitter. There's nothing on it except my Wrestlecade post, but it's Madi The American Badi, at Madi The American Badi, and it'll pop up that same picture. And that's really what you can find me on. I have a lot of my Facebook and Instagram, especially, is where a lot of it. I have my email and everything tagged, and anybody can email me if they would love to sponsor me. And hopefully this does me some good. I've watched some podcasts on YouTube, and y'all had some pretty cool people on here. I love Shalance.
She's great. Yeah, she great.
Really is.
Yes, I have gotten to meet her. She's a super sweet girl. I actually got to work. I was in the same locker room with her. I got to work a show next to her, and she is awesome. And I think she was OVW Women's Champion.
Yeah, she was. She was when we had her on. Absolutely. And you may not know this, but you are our 150th guest on our show. And, for everyone out there, we appreciate all the support. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe button. So 150 is Madi, and she joins an amazing cast of people that we've spoken to. Thunder Rosa, Kylan King. Mm-hmm. We've had, been blessed to interview Jay Uso, Kevin Owens, Charlotte Flair, and
Matt Cardona,
Tyrus. I know you saying that I'm on the same podcast as Charlotte Flair and Thunder Rosa is like, wow.
Hey.
So that's pretty awesome.
And here's the truth with us. And, we've said this before. We love months later for a guest of ours to become the it thing.
Yes.
It means the world to us. Like that someone took their time early on, gave us a shot, because let's be honest, we were nothing before people started giving us an opportunity to start having a podcast and bringing people on. And we were so blessed to do that. But when they make it and they win titles, like Roxanne Perez was on the show. When she won that title, we were so pumped. Yes. Like it's just a different feeling as fans and us as podcasters. And it's always humbling. You talked about going to Wrestlecade. Anytime we're able to speak with a guest, whether they cancel with us and we're able to have to reschedule, it's always a humbling and a blessed experience for us to have anybody on, because we're nobodies. And, that's how it is. We were nobodies, and people took a shot on us, and we love taking shots on people. And I think we took a great shot tonight, and I can't wait to see.
I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. For everyone else out there, make sure you're doing what you need to do. Stay healthy so you can go out to all these shows and stay safe traveling to and from the events as well. If you hear the barking, my dog is going crazy tonight. She is missing me like crazy. But for myself, Tom, and Madi, we appreciate y'all, and we'll see y'all next week.